All right, how's it going out there, folks? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're at out here on this beautiful weekend. It is Saturday, June 21st, 2025, 12:17 p.m. California time here. Latest activity shows some movement there across Southern California, a little point 0.6, not a 6 magnitude, but a little one, just be below the 1 threshold. Earthquake activity here ramping up around the Nankai Trough, just south here overnight. Got a decent swarm of earthquake activity here in a region that had a lot of swarming last year. And during that swarming, the Japanese government here put out a mega quake warning for the Nankai Trough because of this activity. Looks like it's starting to stir back up there in that same region there, just south here of the Nankai Trough, by the way, which is, let me show you guys on the map. The oceanic crust view will give us a beautiful view of the Nankai Trough section here. There's about 5 segments. It's happening towards the southern end here. Again, in a region that's been pretty active over the last, not only the last couple days or so, but in general, all of last year, a lot of activity stirring up down here. USGS only reporting one earthquake there, but it looks like there's been a number of earthquakes on the EMSC model, 4.7, 4.4, and a 4.2. A lot of activity happening up here along the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench yesterday and today as well. Bunch of movement all around an area that is, I'd say it's pretty well primed here for some large earthquake activity. Again, that's the Nankai Trough, capable of producing an earthquake in excess of an 8.0. And got to watch that closely there. It's been, I'm sure, a lot of strain building up on it right now. Here's the activity from yesterday. Got, of course, that deeper earthquake, the first quake, yesterday in the noontime, right about now, 24 hours ago. That resulted in an earthquake about an hour later upstream. Now today, this morning, we got another shallow earthquake here along the subduction zone of the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench. This area obviously primed for some big earthquake activity as well. The 9-pointer that struck back in 2011 was down here across the Japan Trench. That was a big one. But this area upstream can see some big earthquakes as well. I believe 9.0 can be achieved here across that major subduction zone. So pretty active out there in the last 24 hours. Let's go ahead and check out the Pacific Northwest, see if we got anything going on. Nothing above 2.5. All of this is smaller microquake activity. A couple earthquakes there around Mount St. Helens and up around Mount Rainier and around the Devil's Mountain Fault up here north of Everett, Washington. Nothing big, no unusual swarming going on there for now. Same for Oregon. Up northern California, the coastline here, pretty quiet. One earthquake just after midnight there, 3.2, right off the southern end of the Cascadia subduction zone. That's been obviously another region of concern here and watch because of a lot of activity down here taking place recently. Bay Area, pretty quiet. Nothing shown up there on the map today. Down here across the, we're actually into the Parkfield section, very close to the creeping section and the Parkfield section area. It's basically the Parkfield section is an area of the San Andreas Fault that gets locked up and builds up pressure to produce a big earthquake. Areas north here along the creeping section of the San Andreas Fault is it really doesn't lock up in sense of building up enough strain for a big earthquake. We get these periodic slip events, a bunch of 2s and 3s and 1s on occasion that prevent the plate boundary here from locking up. Similar, unlike areas up to the north and to the south here where they tend to lock up. So we're almost always seeing earthquake activity there on the creeping section of the San Andreas Fault. This one's awfully close here to the Parkfield segment, and of course, in the last week or so, that's been an area of watch because of a 3.4, 2.4, and this morning a 2.3. This area down here, I think, is just about ready to have a 6-pointer. It does have fairly unusual reoccurrence intervals here between 20 and 22 years. And the last 6-pointer was back in 2004. So we're sitting at, 21 and a half years now since our last 6-pointer. Again, they occur every 20 to 22 years. The only concern with that is that there's been a little study here on the San Andreas Fault, how there's so much tension built up here along the southern segment, and even areas up north here past the Garlock Fault shear zone that are well constrained and tightened and pressurized to where that 6-pointer potentially could trigger this branch here, the southern branch of the San Andreas Fault, just because of the amount of time that has passed down here and also the extreme pressure that's been building up in that time. So got to watch for that. Obviously, we're going to see a 6-pointer up here soon, and we'll see what happens after that. Hopefully it holds off, but I don't know how much longer the San Andreas Fault here can hold off. It's coming. There's definitely a big one coming. The question is when. Southern California, extreme Southern California here. A couple smaller earthquakes around the San Jacinto Fault zone. There's a couple segments over here to the west as well. Got a little swarming going on there this morning, including a 2.6 earthquake. That a ways away from the San Andreas Fault, but it does show that there's strain building up here in the Southern California region. That's the only earthquake above 2.5 there this morning so far. Throughout Nevada, some earthquake activity out there. Nothing unusual. Up around the Stanley, Idaho region, the Sawtooth Fault system. One more earthquake after midnight. Looks like a 1.3. Really not that big of a deal. Yellowstone National Park. Nothing going on, but let's go double check that real quick here. Stand by. There we go. A couple earthquakes last night. You can see them there on Little West Thumb, Borehole, Lake Butte, and also the promontory here. It looks like the epicenter of this earthquake activity is around this station. A couple smaller earthquakes there late last night. USGS has not got to them, and more than likely will not get to the magnitudes out here until sometime Monday morning after a human review. For the most part, anything that hits below 2.5 will not show up here on the map. That's just the way the preliminary earthquake data system is reported out here for that region. Oil fields a little spotty out here today. Looks like we may be starting to ramp up though in the last hour. But overall, the average number of earthquakes out here a little bit below average so far. This area can see hundreds of earthquakes in a day period. Over the last 30 days, we got 911 earthquakes out here across the oil fields. The largest one being 3.7 for now. Occasionally, we get some 4s, even up in the 5 magnitude range out here across these oil fields. But it's been a couple months here, so we may be due here for another 5-pointer or so around the area. Eastern portion of the country pretty quiet. One earthquake north of Ottawa, 2.1 from this morning. Let's see what we got here for. Wow, look at this earthquake way over in Greenland. Little odd earthquake. But the largest magnitude is going to go to a 4.9 this morning along the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench. Pretty shallow, but right at the subduction zone interface there where the strain builds up. Down across New Zealand, what do we got now? Another earthquake there? 3.8. See that just coming in there along the Japan Trench. My Japan station's offline here, so I'm not able to see that. I'll have to reset that. But another earthquake here across the southern end, south of the Kuril-Kamchatka into the Japan Trench this time. I'm telling you, there's a lot of signs here building up, and I think it's all pointing either one to the Kuril-Kamchatka or the Nankai Trough down here. Two of those, both of those areas there very well set up for some large earthquake activity soon. New Zealand 3s and looks like 4s there off the North Island coast. Been watching this area quite closely as well. It's been kind of jumping over the Alpine Fault here, although this 3.2 looks like it's awfully close to it. The Alpine Fault, obviously an area of concern as well. There's a lot of faults and plate boundaries out here that are fairly well ripe for some big earthquake activity. A bunch of 4s and 3s down here off the coast of South America. This is the area that had a 7-pointer here a couple months back. Looks like some adjustment going on down there for now. Nothing big, just some aftershock sequences. Middle America Trench, a lot of activity from yesterday. Nothing really new to report there. Same for the Puerto Rico Trench, got some older activity happening. One earthquake in the last hour. looks like a 3.8. The Atlantic Ocean, let's see what we got here on the board. Some older activity from yesterday. The newer one just after midnight up there in Greenland, but nothing of any. Well, we got 5.3 Peru right now. Kind of hitting that quiet zone out here. Starting to fill in a little bit. Closest station there to Peru. Oh, where's my Chile station at? I don't even have a South America station up here. Normally I do. So I'll have to add that on there. I can add many different seismograph stations out here. But I think I just froze it. It does act a little funny sometimes. Better go back to the real-time viewer. All right. Make sure we're still good. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Of course, Kilauea Volcano is done with the last eruption. Episode number 26 came to an end here. Oh, yesterday, I believe it was early yesterday morning. We are back on track here to inflation. That's the summit area of Kilauea Volcano at Hawaii. There's the eruption from yesterday, very short-lived. Depletion of the magma below. Now we're starting to go back up. It's just a rinse and repeat cycle. Nothing of any change that I can see for now. We'll know about it. We'll see either a large earthquake or something that would cause a blockage down below there of these craters up there at the summit of Kilauea. That would result in migration of magma somewhere else. But right now it's a rinse and repeat cycle, and I don't see anything that tells me that's going to change. It's been that way since December of last year. All right, there's that 5-pointer. I mean, it's a little bit more active out here today. Nothing big yet, but definitely seeing a more broader scale event of earthquake activity. And of course, that follows a lot of earthquakes in the Atlantic here in the last couple days. The Atlantic Rift Zone boundaries out here, spreading seafloor center, tends to get all these plates into motion, so to speak, and it's been doing that for a long time. But it seems like lately when it happens, it really gets the plates moving out here, and it looks like we're starting to kick up here today. Nothing big yet, but things are on the move. All right, let's check out space weather activity. By the way, folks, a member drawing is going to be held today. It's just a lot going on here on this end. Got the plate very full here on my end, so I'm trying my best to get everything done, but we'll get all the members in a fishbowl today and pick out a winner. Solar flare, and that'll be later this afternoon or so, here in a couple hours. I still have a few entries I need to write down. Got about 85, 86 members that we need to put in there. Flaring activity, we're still way down there into the B flare category. Really nothing going on here in the last 24 hours. We still have an active region over here out across the southeastern quadrant of the sun. Although this is starting to look a little bit on the disorganized side. Looks like that may be fading away. This active area back over here, 3114, look at that, just dissipated there. All the complexity is gone. There's still this area back over here, but I'm really not all that concerned with that. So it looks like I'm going to have to drop the flare threat there. There's really not a whole lot of potential for stronger flaring right now. These guys still showing a 15% chance, but I think we're more at a 5% or less. 65%, probably around 50% chance for an M flare. There's an active area out on the northeastern limb of the sun. It doesn't look all that impressive. There is some bright features there on the UV image, but just getting a glimpse of this over here, it looks like some large coverage area, but not a whole lot of complexity. This is one of the sunspots that was out here a couple weeks ago. I can't remember the name, but previous to that, it was probably a stronger sunspot out here a number of cycles ago. These sunspots go around and around, and they come back, and it's the same sunspots. They're not new. Sometimes we get some newer sunspots that pop up out of the blue, but a lot of this disorganized stuff that you see here on the sun is just remnants of former sunspots, and the ones that do hold on and travel on the backside of the sun and come into the Earth-directed view they're just renamed recycled, so to speak. But yeah, it's the same sunspots. All right, what do we got here for any Earth-directed asteroids, or I should say close approach asteroids? I would hope they're not Earth-directed. That would mean that they're being controlled. This one's pretty close, although that's outside the Earth-Moon distance, 526,000 miles away, airplane size. That's newly discovered, though. This one's huge, just under the size of the asteroid Apophis here. That's supposed to make a close approach to the planet in 2029. Super close approach. We'll cover that as we get closer, obviously. But yeah, nothing of any interest here for now. A couple big ones on there, but they're all millions of miles away. Storm Prediction Center, severe weather, a little bit less active here, at least across the states. Canada, a little uncertain on that, but slight risk here across the extreme northeast of the states. Got a little 2% here in North Dakota and across the Great Lakes area. The main threat looks like it's going to be some damaging wind and some hail threats up here across the region, New York. Upstate there. For tomorrow, for Sunday, got a little slight risk down here, stretching all the way from the north, all the way down south here into New Mexico. That appears to be main threat's going to be, looks like some wind and some hail threats out there. Although there is a 5% chance for some tornado activity up around the Fargo and Grand Forks area. So just a heads up, folks. All right, seismograph stations out here all look pretty quiet. Again, just be on guard. We got a lot moving out here on a broad scale type of event. Some movement out in Greece still. Looks like some fours out there. Nothing new going on across the Santorini volcano. This is the Santorini, Greece area. Notice the name up here. A couple smaller earthquakes out there still. One localized event, but nothing big in terms of any major swarming going on there for now. Aside from that, folks, have yourself a wonderful Saturday. Enjoy it. Much, much cooler out here in Northern California today. We're well below average. It's supposed to top out at, I think, I don't know, 82 degrees or so. And for us, that is a treat, because we've been awfully close to 100 or above 100 here for the last month. So we'll take a little break, a little relief there from all the heat. And of course, I'm pretty much surrounded by a lot of rice fields out here, so the heat and the sun cooks that water out there in the field, and it literally makes it feel like I'm living down in Louisiana. The dew points can be in the low 70s out here in Northern California, and that is brutal. And yeah, it's just a lot of rice fields, flooded rice fields. It makes sense, right? When the sun beats down, cooks that water, makes it quite muggy out here across this area of the Sacramento Valley. Up around Red Bluff and Redding, not so much, but here in Glenn County, portions of Tehama, maybe Butte, and of course Colusa County down here, massive amounts of rice fields that it really sticky. And plus the mosquitoes love them, so we got mosquito breeding ground out here. All right, I'm out of here. Have yourself a wonderful day. We will see you back out here this afternoon for the member drawing. That will be held today. I just got a few more entries I got to put in there. And if you're not a member today, jump on board. It's something we do every single month here. It's just to recognize our members and show appreciation by giving back. We'll give away a $50 Visa, MasterCard, gift card of your choice. Could be Amazon, Walmart, whatever you want. Or if you don't want that, your options are some maybe Earthmaster T-shirt, or if you want a 11-piece geology mining kit. Pretty neat. Got a decent carrying case with it and everything. I can have that directly sent from Amazon to your home. And yeah, so it's just our way of giving back, so to speak. We've been doing that for 3 years now, consistently every single month. Sometimes the dates are off. Like yesterday, it's supposed to do it, right? But I had a little family emergency there going on. Today, a little bit calmer, but I should be able to get that in this afternoon time period. So watch for that. That will be a live update separate from this one, and it's for members only. So if you see a live stream popped up Members only. Well, you know what's going on. It's your chance to win some prizes here for the members. All right, I'm out of here. Enjoy your day. What's the USGS reporting that earthquake now? They're along the Ecuador area, 5.3 at 24 miles deep.